Before I get out of here, it would be wrong of me to not mention that Jake Tapper is now the author of a brand new book, ladies and gentlemen, that is, again, also so ironic you could cut this thing with a knife, but it's probably too thick. Rachel Maddow bellyaching about federal government workers being trimmed and audited for their work while her own staff is being fired by MSNBC for budget cuts. Over at CNN, here's more irony. A guy, Jake Tapper, who absolutely denied that Joe Biden was in any kind of bad shape cognitively. They covered up for years and years that Joe Biden was in a bad state. In fact, they would argue openly with anyone who would come on their air to suggest that he wasn't in a good way, like when Lara Trump visited Jake Tapper back in 2020, and this exchange went down. Listen to this, cut 785.
How do you think it makes little kids with stutters feel when they see you make a comment like that?
First and foremost, I had no idea that Joe Biden ever suffered from a stutter. I think what we see on stage with Joe Biden, Jake, is very clearly a cognitive decline.
Okay.
That's what I'm referring to. It makes me uncomfortable
you are
to
no
watch somebody on stage
That's so amazing. It's so amazing to me that
try and figure out an answer.
A cognitive decline.
Well, when you're trying to tell me that what I was suggesting was
I think that you were mocking his stutter. Yeah, I think you were mocking his stutter, and I think you have absolutely no standing to diagnose somebody's cognitive decline. I would think that somebody in the Trump family would be more sensitive to people who do not have medical licenses diagnosing politicians from afar. Plenty of people have diagnosed your father from afar, and I'm sure it offends you. Your father-in-law from afar. I'm sure it offends you. You don't have any standing to say.
I'm not diagnosing him. What I'm saying, Jake,
you just talked about a cognitive decline.
That Joe Biden
I have one last question for you, Lara. You can't
times on stage, and it's very concerning to a lot of people that this could be the leader of the free world.
Okay.
That is all I'm saying. I genuinely feel sorry for Joe Biden.
You know, when we talk about people of goodwill and good faith, Jake Tapper is the example of the antithesis of that. It isn't just that we disagree with him politically. It's that he sat there and knew full well, as did every Democrat, knew full well, way back, before 2020, but certainly in 2020, he sat there and stared his viewers, such as they were, in the face and argued with Lara Trump to her face that what we were all seeing and what we all knew was true wasn't true. Damn your lying eyes. Now, that's the personification of someone who is not of goodwill and is not operating in good faith. He could have said, that's not being fair, or listen, he's older, but you can't deny, you couldn't deny the premise that Joe Biden had lost his fastball, to put it mildly. Yet Jake did. Now, fast forward. Here we are, 2025. The Democrats get crushed. They're all now relegated to the sidelines. MSNBC, CNN, they're hemorrhaging viewers. They're cutting staff. They're all in the basement. The MAGA era has swept the country. And what does Jake do? He decides to author a brand new book with the help of a co-author from Axios named Alex Thompson. The book is called Original Sin. And can you believe this? It's a book about Joe Biden's decline. Cut 786. It's impossible to believe, but here we are.
And we've challenged Democrats and White House officials about it. But Alex Thompson of Axios and I have spent the last several months talking to more than 200 insiders and officials and donors and activists, more willing to talk post-election, of course, to explain the last couple of years in politics and how we as a nation got here with never-before-heard stories from behind the scenes. You will not believe what was really going on. You can pre-order the book at originalsinbook.com.
Selling a book, Original Sin. Never before heard stories from behind the scenes of the mess that was the Biden White House. What's so infuriating, of course, about it is they knew. They always knew. They knew people inside the White House who were closest to this seat of power who knew. And rather than do the right thing for the American people, they kept it quiet because partisanship was more important to them. Their access to people of power was more important to them. So this is not journalism anymore. And so when you hear all the belly aching and the shrieking and the ballyhoo about Caroline Leavitt and who's in the White House press briefing rooms and it's unfair, and these are the people These are the people who are screaming and yelling the loudest that they're not getting the access to power that they want. The very same people who, when they had access to power, hid how bad it really was, denying what you and I saw as taxpayers every day. It really, bad faith actors, not just partisans, but bad faith people who deserve to be relegated to the sidelines, if not unemployed.